This tiny island in the middle of the Persian Gulf controls almost all of Iran's oil. And if anything goes wrong here, millions of barrels instantly disappear from the global market. But what most people don't know is this entire system is far more fragile than it looks. Out in the open ocean, far from land, massive steel structures rise above the water. These offshore platforms drill deep beneath the seabed, sometimes several kilometers down, where oil has been trapped for millions of years. The pressure here is extreme. One wrong calculation, one failure in equipment, and everything can spiral out of control within seconds. And yet, every single day, this system keeps running. But here's where it gets interesting. The oil you see being pumped out here doesn't just go directly into ships. It begins a long and highly controlled journey. Deep underwater pipelines carry this crude oil across the seabed, stretching for miles, completely hidden from the surface. You won't see them, you won't hear them, but they are constantly moving massive volumes of oil toward a single destination. That destination is one of the most important and most protected oil hubs in the region. At first glance, it looks like a normal island, but in reality, it's a giant storage and export machine. Huge storage tanks, each holding millions of barrels, sit silently as oil flows into them non-stop. This is where everything is prepared before export. Now, imagine this. Thousands of tons of oil sitting in one place while tensions in the region continue to rise. Because this is not just an engineering project, it's a geopolitical pressure point. And if something disrupts this system, the consequences don't stay local. But before we get into that, there's something even more fascinating. How does this oil actually leave? Massive supertankers arrive at specially designed deep-water terminals. These ships are so large they can't dock at normal ports. Instead, they connect through advanced loading systems that pump oil directly into their tanks at high speed. Each tanker carries millions of barrels, and once it leaves, it becomes part of a much bigger, more complicated system. Because moving oil across the ocean is not as simple as it sounds. In fact, this is where things become even more secretive. Due to global restrictions and sanctions, not every shipment follows a normal route. Some ships operate quietly, avoiding attention, switching routes, sometimes even turning off tracking systems. This hidden network is often called a shadow system, and it exists for one reason: to keep the oil flowing no matter what. Now, think about this for a second. A single disruption in the ocean, a damaged pipeline, or a blocked shipping route, and suddenly millions of barrels stop moving. Prices spike, markets react, entire regions feel the impact. This is why these offshore projects are built with extreme precision. Every valve, every pipe, every connection is designed to handle intense pressure and harsh ocean conditions. But even with all this engineering, nothing is completely risk-free. Storms, corrosion, human error, all of these remain constant threats. And then there's the biggest risk of all: conflict. Because this entire system exists in one of the most sensitive regions in the world, any escalation can turn these massive structures into vulnerable targets. And if that happens, the global impact could be immediate. But here's the part most people never think about. Even with all these risks, the system doesn't stop. Day and night, oil continues to flow. Tankers continue to move. Operations continue as if nothing could ever go wrong, because stopping is not an option. Too much depends on it. And that's what makes this entire operation so fascinating. It's not just about extracting oil. It's about maintaining a system under constant pressure from the ocean, from the machines, and from the world itself. Now, imagine being one of the workers out there, surrounded by water in every direction, handling millions of barrels of highly flammable liquid, knowing that even the smallest mistake could trigger a disaster. And still, they keep going, because this is one of the most critical energy lifelines on the planet, and almost no one ever sees how it truly works.
All systems green for berth 4. Loading sequence active.
Run the diagnostic on the cargo valves now.
Confirmed. Flow rate steady.
Hit the locks! Now!
Clamp secured. Moving to position 2.
The oil prices are spiking. Sell everything now!
It's because of the lockdown. We have to pull out.
Get me a quote on the futures immediately.
The pressure dropped on the Atlantic line. We have a confirmed disruption. The market is crashing!
They're still evading the net. The red lines are everywhere, but the ships are gone.
Reroute the algorithm to the strait. I'm seeing a new cluster converging now.
Satellite imagery confirms the launch sequence initiated.
All units, posture for immediate response.